A listless and alienated teenager decides to help his new friend with a class presidency in their small western high school, while he must deal with his bizarre family life back home.
This is Ryan.
This is Ashley.
And this is Ruining Our Childhood.
You know, I have an issue with some of whoever writes these on IMDb.
It's a list.
A list lists an alienated teenager, and then I kind of emphasized the wrong thing in the sentence.
Yeah.
While he must deal with his bizarre family life back home. Okay. Anyway, hi. It's Ashley.
It's Ryan.
And this is Ruining Our Childhood.
Welcome.
Bonjour. If this is your first time joining us, you should check out our other episodes. There's been 13.
They're pretty delightful.
Yeah.
This is number 14.
14, and our dog is tippity-tapping
Down the
in
hall.
the hallway.
Official dog of the podcast, Rupert.
Rupert Jennings.
Yes.
I'll put a picture of it on Facebook. You should really go check us out on Facebook to see pictures of Rupert.
Yes.
I mean,
He's
why else would you join a podcast's Facebook page?
Other than to see their dog.
Yeah. And we do polls. We're going to do a poll next week.
Yep. That's what we do.
So, get on that shit, people. Yeah. What are you doing with your life?
I'll go ahead and tell you that this is a weekly podcast where we remove our childhood goggles and we're going to go ahead and put on those adult bifocals to rewatch and review our favorite movies from the past.
That's true. I totally skipped over that.
Yeah.
We're just having fun, man.
That's what we do.
There doesn't always have to be a plan.
No.
Says the girl that wrote the outline in the plan.
That is correct.
So this week, if you couldn't tell what that whole whatever I just said was,
yes.
We're watching 2004's classic Napoleon Dynamite.
That is correct.
And Ryan, go ahead and hit us with some 2004 facts. Also, fun fact, the year I graduated high school.
Oh.
Yeah.
So.
I like how you said that like you didn't know.
This movie was released on January 17th, 2004 at the Sundance Film Festival.
What year? Or what month?
January 17th.
Okay.
It was released in the United States on June 11th, 2004. It cost $400,000 to make. It went on to gross $46 million, of which John Heder, the star of the film, was paid $1,000. I did see he renegotiated his compensation and was able to receive a cut of the profits.
That's good, because that's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the people who made the film probably went into it thinking we're going to screw these actors over.
Yeah, no.
I don't think they realized how big of a success it was going to be.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, facts about 2004. The popular television shows were CSI, American Idol, and Desperate Housewives.
Nice.
Popular songs was, let's go with Usher and Alicia Keys, My Boo. Ciara featuring P.D. Pablo, Goodies. And Snoop Dogg featuring Pharrell, Drop It Like It's Hot.
Oh, man.
That was a jam.
That was my jam freshman year of college.
Oh, popular films. 2004 popular films. Shrek 2.
Nice.
Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Passion of the Christ.
I never saw it.
Down at number 6. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Represent. I'm dancing.
You're just shaking your hand randomly like, what? But you didn't say anything. It was like you were shaking water off of it. Get that off. Get it off. Oh, God.
Sorry about that, folks.
Yep.
So, what I remember, I'll go first.
Yes.
Since you just told all the facts and stuff.
That's correct.
I didn't watch this in theaters. I don't even know if they played it in the theater near me at the time, because I grew up in a smaller city/town, and I don't remember seeing it. I got into like a car accident winter break of my freshman year of college, and which was late 2004, and my friend came over to like hang out with me because I broke my femur and couldn't really do anything. And she brought over this movie because she was obsessed with it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay.
And I'll watch it.
Yeah, and I thought it was hilarious, but that was the first time I saw it, so it was already when it was on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody quoted it, I felt like. And the funny thing was, I remember she told me she had family that lived in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, spoiler alert, is set in Idaho.
Correct.
And she was like, it's funny because they dress like it's early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, that's literally how people dress there. They're like 10 years, 15 years behind.
Oh,
and I don't know if that's true. If anybody lives in Idaho, let us know. Maybe in a small town. I mean, I grew up in a small town, but I felt like we weren't that behind the times.
I do remember, this is nothing to do with the film, but I remember it was probably 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend was working in a small town in like the Iowa-Minnesota border.
Oh, yeah.
And he told us like their grocery store still had video rental and sold VHS players, like VCRs. Sorry,
that makes
VHS
sense.
player. Oh no, wrong trunk. But yeah, I was like, wow, okay. And that was like 7 years ago. Still with the VCRs.
That really doesn't surprise me. I remember when I worked at the video store. I've talked about it before. If you're
new to the podcast.
Yes. It was 2004. It was the same year.
Mm-hmm.
We were transitioning to get only DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And I remember this little girl came in. She was like 12. And she's like, you don't have this new release on VHS. And I was like, yeah, we're transitioning to DVD only. The new movies that we get are going to only be on DVD. And she's just like, you're going to lose a lot of customers. A lot.
And you were like, you are 12.
And I was like, okay.
Little
I was
sassy
like,
pants.
sorry, like, I make that decision. But also, get with the times, little girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was your...
I remember, like, hearing about the movie, like, it probably was after Sundance, and there was a little bit of hype about it.
Mm-hmm.
So then obviously, people don't know this, but we are in Phoenix, so we have, like, a lot of movie theaters, and we had an independent, like, Valley Art Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to see, it was, like, the one time I went to the Valley Art Theater to go see an independent film was this. And then I think, like 2 weeks later, it got a wide release, and it was in
Makes sense.
every movie theater. So I remember going to see it. I thought it was pretty funny, but I did have a roommate who was obsessed with it,
right,
and would play it all the damn time. Like, it was the only movie he would watch. So you kind of got sick of it.
I could understand that.
But I do remember, like, the phenomenon that was after the movie, like, people wearing Vote for Pedro shirts and stuff,
the
like
quotes.
Yeah, like, it definitely took on a life of its own. And I totally forgot a few years ago, Fox had actually made a Napoleon Dynamite animated
cartoon?
Series. Yeah. But
I forgot
unfortunately, it was
about
only canceled after 6 episodes. So.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I would say this was one of the first probably indie films that I saw, technically.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was, at the time I was 18. I was trying to be sophisticated. But I feel like it's filled with a lot of dumb humor.
Oh, no, it is, I'm sure. But it's one of those things, like, I think every, 5 years or so, our society will latch on to an independent film, and it makes it a huge success. Like, we had Blair Witch probably about 5 years before this.
I think it was 99.
And then there was obviously this, which was insanely popular. But I think Blair Witch was just out of control.
With the...
It made a crap ton of money, and then I remember renting it just going, wasn't that good?
It made me sick.
Yeah, it's real shaky.
Literally, yeah, I was... How old? We rented it for Halloween whenever it came out on video, like that following Halloween. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I had eaten a lot of candy too. But
and then Paranormal Activity. It was kind of like a small budget film.
Yeah, where it just exploded.
Insane.
For sure. That's a good example.
Yeah.
So do you think it will hold up?
I kind of thought about this almost all day, kind of going back and forth. And I'm like, I don't think it will. And I think it's because I was so annoyed by how, you couldn't throw a rock without hitting a guy in a Vote for Pedro shirt.
That's true.
So I think that is almost going to spoil things for me, where I'm going to be like, ugh, this again? But I still, there's parts of the movie, I can think about in my head. I try not to think about it too much because I don't want to give away any like cameos that I may have forgot.
Yeah.
Where there's stuff in like I'm like, oh, that's gonna be hilarious to see again. Like I love Uncle Rico and stuff like that.
Yeah. I personally think it will hold up because I haven't seen it in a good, I don't know if we ever watched it together.
We might have when we first started dating.
Yeah, I don't remember. So I probably haven't seen it in a good like 10, almost 15 years, if that's the case. And there's got to be stuff that cracks me up because I love deadpan. I like all comedy.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. I can find anything funny if it's meant to be funny. But I like deadpan and I like, dry.
Yeah.
So, and this is definitely that kind of. Yeah. So we'll see. And we're going to watch it with somebody that's never seen it before as well.
I think he's seen it.
He said he didn't.
He lived with me.
Well, he's a liar. You're a liar.
You're a liar. Go back to your home on Liar Island.
Anyway, so...
Where can they stream said film?
Places. I'm just kidding. It just looks like, according to Google, and we all know Google can be a liar. Calling you out, Google. Anyway, YouTube.
Bing it then.
I'm not going to Bing it.
Yeah. So then
that sounds gross.
Don't talk about Google.
I'm not going to Bing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Google Play, Vudu, iTunes, Rent. $3.99. A little steep, if you're asking me. Cinemax, if you have a Cinemax subscription, because who doesn't?
That's still a thing?
It is.
I thought there was just Showtime and HBO. I didn't even realize Cinemax
what about
was
Stars?
still around.
Stars has Outlander. Ryan.
I like Stars.
Cinemax has the Max Go,
which
we've made reference to in this podcast before.
Max Go.
You can see it there. So, if you don't have it on DVD like we do, correct? We have it on?
Yes, we do.
Did you check?
Yeah.
Should you go check now?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay. So, we're going to go ahead and pop our DVD in.
Hit the pause.
And hit the pause right now before we pop our DVD in. Because it would be weird if I just left this recording.
Take a shot. You said pause in. Take a shot.
I'm not perfect, Ryan.
Neither
you knew
am
this when you married me.
Did I? Yeah, I knew it.
Did you think I was perfect?
No.
So
God, no.
What? So rude. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and hit the pause. And Ryan's already taking his headphones off, so...
He's out.
Apparently we're done. We're done. And we're going to go watch Napoleon Dynamite.
Correct. We just finished watching Napoleon Dynamite. And we're going to go ahead and break down our movie, as we always do with our categories. So we're going to go ahead and load our VHS into our VCR.
What?
Oh my God.
Did you say VACR?
VHS into our VCR.
Okay.
And talk about some technology. What pieces of technology did you notice?
The first one I noticed was the computer that Kip used.
Oh, it was delightful.
To chat with all those babes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bulky.
And the thing that I noticed was on the side of his computer, he had a, floppy disk holder.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wow, that's a sweet piece of technology.
Right.
And also the other thing was the huge console television that they had that was in, one of those, wooden boxes.
Yeah.
We totally had one of those.
Did you?
Yeah, we got rid of it in, I think we had it till, 2000.
Oh, wow.
It lasted forever.
I don't think we had one of those.
I want to say both of my grandparents had one. And yeah, they were pretty popular. I will say this, for a movie that I'm genuinely not sure when that movie's set.
I think it's set when it's supposed to be set.
Set in 2003-ish, 2004? Yeah. Okay.
But it's just kind of making fun of some towns that are a little behind on the times, like I'd mentioned in the first part of the podcast. And I made a note about it that it kind of creates this timelessness. Mm-hmm. So they rely on technology that's older, and it's still set in 2003, 2004. Mm-hmm. And it kind of creates this like own little thing where it doesn't date the movie because there's no reference to when it is.
And you bring up a good point about when it probably is set, because they use the music they use, which they use like a Backstreet Boys song, and they use the Jamiroquai song, which were probably like super like late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, it's definitely probably set in that time period. Which, when you brought up some of the technology, which, given when it's set, there's not a ton of dated technology, ironically. No. Even though there is like some like awesome VCR usage, he did like load a cassette for Napoleon to dance to.
Yeah, cassette, and then I think most of the technology was like late 80s, early 90s. There was a payphone.
Yep.
And just the VCR that loaded from the top, which was amazing. And then the video camera. They only showed it for like a minute that Uncle Rico's using to film his sweet
football passing videos.
Yeah. It was like the original camcorder from the 80s.
And the tripod.
Yeah.
That he used, like, it was literally like 3 sticks. Like,
that's what a tripod is.
But like it didn't look like there was anything holding it together at the base. Like it just looked like 3 sticks, and there was like no tying it together.
This tripod's so old it only has 3 legs.
His tripod's only the 3-leg pod.
That's why it says tri.
I know what a tripod is.
I don't think my husband knows what triangle means.
But like his, like, it literally looked like 3 wooden poles.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like how like
I'm just making fun of you.
Well, that's what you do.
I know.
Did you notice anything else?
I did want to talk about the opening credits. Oh, okay. I liked the, like the food
plates.
With people's names. It really reminded me, and I guess this shows how far we've come as a society, but it reminded me of some of those recipe videos on YouTube that kind of like what like BuzzFeed does in Tasty, where it's just they're just showing that view
overhead shot of it.
Yeah. And that's what it reminded me of, which I'm like, man.
And I liked how they would just incorporate the names onto the stuff. Like, I like how it was like the old school library cards, which took me back.
I did think it was very inventive, especially with like the books and the
chapstick that had the person's. Yeah, it was really well done.
I liked it.
Yeah. You ready to move on to the next category?
Yes. This category is called Kids Would Call It a Throwback. We call it the prime of our teens, but...
Take a shot. Proud of our teens.
Prime of our teens, but also this movie's really weird, and
it's like the prime of our childhood.
It's just, set in this weird land of we don't know what year it is. So... Yeah. Just some of the things, I just wrote down some things that I loved.
Oh, okay.
As far as fashion choices, obviously the snow boots.
Iconic.
With the jeans tucked in and the random horse shirts or...
A dog, I think, was on one.
A wolf, maybe, at one point. They were just... It just reminded me of some kids that I went to elementary school with.
Yeah, definitely.
That's definitely...
No, I had those snow boots as a child. Like, definitely had those. But I only wore them when it was snowing.
Yeah. It's like summer in Idaho.
Yeah.
When they're filming this.
Yeah.
And then I loved the one character, Rex, his American flag pants.
Oh, they were glorious.
They were amazing. And I feel like I knew somebody that owned them.
I had some, because they were kind of like Zubaz-y style.
Yeah.
Like, I had some Zubaz when I was, like, in kindergarten.
I don't think I ever had those.
But they were not the American flag ones. I did notice Napoleon rocking, like, a digital Casio watch.
Yes. I think Uncle Rico was, too.
Uncle Rico is just...
His fashion. It's funny, because
amazing.
Most of the people's fashions were definitely late 80s, early 90s. His was 70s.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of... He's stuck in 1982. He says it himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
No, and his, like... He was wearing, like, a leisure suit, kind of. With, like, almost, like, bell-bottom style, like, 70 polyester pants.
It was such a creep.
Oh, it was...
Sorry, I'm yawning.
The eyeglasses that everyone had were, like, from, like, 1993.
Definitely.
Like, nobody's wearing those. Although, I noticed big lenses are making a comeback.
They are.
Yeah.
I've noticed that as well.
I did notice The one character, Summer, was wearing a massive scrunchie on her wrist.
Yeah.
Which I was like, my friends that were girls did that in 1994. They definitely weren't doing that in 2004.
Yeah, scrunchies kind of stopped being a thing when I was a kid, mid-90s.
Yeah.
And then it became all about the sleeker stuff or, the butterfly clips.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. The one line quote that I put down under dated references, because it's not something a lot of people say in this context, is chatting online with babes all day. And that's Kip, because he loves to do chat rooms on the computer. Nowadays, obviously, you could just do it on your phone and it would just be Tinder. You just DM people.
Yeah,
but
gotta be on my Tinder.
Yeah.
Is that Tinder's still a thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or married, we don't know. Hey guys, we want to talk to you a little bit about the Podcoin app.
Yes! The Podcoin app. It pays you to listen to Ruining Our Childhood, as well as your other favorite podcasts. You can use the Podcoin you earn to claim gift cards for some of your favorite stores.
What? Starbucks?
Check.
Amazon?
Correct.
Target. Seriously, guys, this is pretty legit. Join the Podcoin app today on iPhone or Android, and I said join, but I meant download.
You've got to download
and
it.
Use code RUINING to get 300 Podcoin just for signing up.
That's 300 Podcoin for using RUINING.
That's how you spell ruining, just in case you don't know that.
Yes.
So if you're basically listening to podcasts all day anyways while you're working or driving or doing anything, might as well make some money off the deal. Am I right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, free coffee for something you're already doing sounds fantastic.
It does sound fantastic.
Take a shot.
So go give the Podcoin app a try today. And also don't forget to listen to Ruining Our Childhood and make some money, guys.
Okay.
Bye. I feel like all of Pedro's family that they showed were just walking Mexican stereotypes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He had his cousins who had a lowrider, and they just wore wife beater. And then just for a split second, when Napoleon calls his house, his sister is dressed basically like what a chola would be, like a standard definition of a chola. Yeah. Even Pedro, but he's not he looks like he's just an old Mexican rancher or something. Yeah. He's always wearing Western shirts, which it's maybe his parents were like, this is what they'll wear in Idaho. I don't know.
I can honestly say I did go to school with a couple guys that dress just like that.
Yeah.
Bolo ties, every day. Did you notice any dated references, and why would I even ask, did you? Because I know,
everything was
crap.
A dated reference. Deb is selling glamour shots. Was amazing.
Yeah.
And just everything. This movie was just a walking dated reference.
Yeah.
But like I said, overall, they didn't rely too much on it, that it did keep it pretty timeless to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was shag carpet and wood paneling.
Oh, yeah. Their house, it was a split level house. And then they had mustard yellow appliances in the kitchen. And yeah. And then the couches.
Couches were great.
Were from the early 80s. It looked like the couches basically in Stranger Things.
Yeah. That Joyce has.
Yeah, Joyce. Winona Ryder's character.
And there was a thing that I did catch. It was a picture on the wall of Napoleon, which was taken that year. And it was one of those pictures that you would see in the 80s where it's two pictures of the same person. In the picture, he's looking down on himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh god. It's some wonderful. Of it's really well done on how they did a lot of that stuff.
It is. It's definitely a style of the type of storytelling that the director and the writers do. It's just interesting.
The thing that was funny was towards the end, the one character, Deb, it's almost like she got into a time machine and was transported to 2003 or 2004, because her hairstyle, all of a sudden she's done rocking a side ponytail.
Yeah, and all of her clothes were very pastel and very early 90s.
But when she goes over and plays tetherball,
she's just wearing
Napoleon,
a summer dress.
Yeah, but she just looked normal. I was like, oh, you're the only person in this town that. I don't know how it happened, but it happened for you.
I feel like Summer, she rocked a lot of kind of normal looking clothes.
She had always had like a weird bangs haircut from the early 90s.
Yeah. I think I wrote down something about her. I might have put it in the wrong little section here. Wow. There was a scene in the movie where they're at a dance, and I just noticed that Summer was wearing a really crappy dress. I think it was like early 90s.
Yeah.
But she was wearing platform flip-flops that were pretty popular in the early 2000s. Because I had them. They were black. Mm-hmm. They had a 2-inch sole.
Yeah.
It just didn't go with the dress. It didn't
go with the awesome dress she was rocking.
No. But I was like, that's the only thing I noticed that could have been considered 2000s type clothing.
Everything else is 1980s.
For sure. Did you have anything else? Oh, I did want to point out that I did like in her speech, she's like, who wants to eat chimichangas all next year? And I'm like, everybody?
There was quite a few racial, like just downright racist comments. Like the principal asked Pedro like if he spoke English.
Yeah.
And then when he's disciplining him because Pedro had a piñata of Summer.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know how you do it down in Juarez, but that doesn't fly here or something like that. And I'm like, God, that is so, you could not get away with that today. Like, that is racism.
No, but I think in the sense of it's a small town in Idaho, which is known for being
it's believable.
Really racist. Yeah, I mean, no offense to anybody that lives in Idaho, but I've had some bad instances.
Yes.
There. With my father, who is Mexican, by the way. And since I grew up in Montana, so we were close by.
Yeah.
It's a little realistic. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like over the top or, we need to point it out or, to make fun of Pedro or anything. But it was just slight things that I'm like, yeah. Also, who wouldn't want to eat chimichangas?
I would.
They're delicious.
Yeah. Are you ready to move on to our next category?
Yes, I am.
It is a little category we like to call, well, hello there. It's where we point out any cameos or famous or recognizable actors or actresses that we may have forgot were in the film. And who did you notice?
There wasn't a whole lot because I think they did keep the cast pretty small.
Yeah.
I did notice, and I kind of forgot, Haley Duff was Summer. Mm-hmm. And she's more of like she does a lot of Hallmark movies, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I haven't seen her anything actual like real movies.
I was gonna say she's not on my radar, but that would make sense if she was maybe doing that still acting.
Yeah, I've seen her on a couple of Netflix thumbnails, and they're basically
all Christmassy Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
Okay. The only one that I really caught was Diedrich Bader, who was Oswald on the Drew Carey Show, and he's been in a ton of stuff.
Yes.
He did play Rex, the Taekwondo instructor.
With the amazing American flag fans.
He was just delightful in his little scenes that he was in.
He was probably the most famous person in that movie.
Him or the guy who plays Uncle Rico, who's just been in a ton of stuff.
He's like a character actor.
But he was like a regular on Martin.
Oh.
Like he was on like 55 episodes of Martin or something like that. So yeah, he was, but yeah, I would say Diedrich Bader was probably the most
He's like the most recognizable for me. I mean, Tina Majorino was a child actor, but then she kind of stopped doing stuff for a little bit before this.
Yeah.
But then she went on to be in Veronica Mars.
Yeah, and she was on True Blood, and I looked her up, and she was on Scorpion.
Oh.
So she's...
No, I was saying, like, in between, like, her being a child actor and this, I don't really remember her being in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then after this, I think it kind of... She went on to do... Veronica Mars started that same year, so...
Yeah, no.
But she was on the first season, right? Like halfway through the first season?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, there was not a ton of recognizable people in this film.
No. There was a low... I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm a little off today in a different way than last week.
I was going to say, last week we had a movie that had about 900 cameos and small part people that were in it, and this one's 3.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the next one?
Sure. This next category is called Is It Even Good? Where we talk about the plot and the casting choices, and we tell you our funniest and cringiest moments of the movie. Mm-hmm. What did you think about the plot?
I don't even know what to make of it. Like, other than I'm genuinely confused as to why it's a movie. Like,
that's not good.
But I get, like, you know, he's kind of like a nerdy guy up in Idaho, and he helps his buddy get elected class president. But so I guess it was good. It's a entertaining movie.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I'm genuinely confused as to what I'm supposed to take away and like why this is a movie.
I agree. So I had made a note that it's like a lot of indie movies where it's really grounded in reality, or this kind of, it's a movie, but it doesn't seem like a movie. It seems like real life because things aren't perfect and shiny. But it also has this other side where nothing bad ever happens, really. Like,
yeah,
you know, like some indie movies you watch them, you're like, this is really depressing. This movie's not depressing at all. It's funny. But I agree. Like, as an adult, I don't know if this movie entertained me as much.
No. Yeah.
And the plot, I think the characters make more sense to me. Like, everybody knows somebody like Uncle Rico who gets stuck in his past, in his high school days, his prime days.
Yeah.
And then Napoleon is awkward, and everybody knows somebody that's awkward like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Who just sits there and plays dodgeball by himself.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from this movie
I
far
guess
as
it's
like
believable in the sense that it's just like real life, which a lot of people don't want to watch real life when they're watching a movie. They just want to
escape reality.
Yeah, they do. So
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. What did you think of the casting choices?
I thought everybody was good. It's kind of funny because I don't remember Uncle Rico being so creepy.
Yeah.
Obviously, he is this dick. He's like really mean to Kip and Napoleon.
Yeah.
As their uncle. And he just, everything he does comes off creepy. Like when he's talking to Deb, who's Tina Majorino. I can't say her name for some reason. Mac from Veronica Mars. And it seems like he's hitting on her.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he just pulls out the little slip of paper about the breast enhancement pills that he's selling. And at first I was just like, where are they going with this? Yeah, I totally forgot about that part.
He was creepy, but I thought, like, John Heder is fantastic, and, like, it was a really well casting job on him. And, like, same thing with Kip. So I think, like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, the casting choices are pretty good. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
If you want to move on to our funniest line and moment?
Yes.
Sure. What's yours?
I chuckled a lot in the movie. There's just, like, I like when Kip is trying to show, like, some lady how strong the Tupperware is. Yes. And he puts it, like, underneath the back tire. He backs up. Spoiler alert, the Tupperware breaks into a million pieces.
Because
they can't withstand the car going over it. And so rather than just stop, he just puts it in drive and just takes off.
Yeah, I love that part. I liked that part because also, like, right before it, they show, like, the right way to do it. Yeah. Which is Uncle Rico telling the guy to try to rip it apart, which I'm like, you really couldn't do that with anything unless you were, the strongest man alive or something. Yeah. But, yeah, that was the hilarious part. Mine was something Kip did as well. Okay. Just one of the first lines. Deb is at the door. She's trying to sell glamour shots and friendship bracelets. She's apparently a jack of all trades. and she's like, I'm trying to save money for college. And Kip goes, your mom goes to college. And that made me laugh so much.
Because that's something you would say.
Yeah, that's true. And then what makes it funnier is that Deb runs away from their house after it, like as if it was a really mean thing to say. When in actuality, saying your mom goes to college is like, oh, your mom's college educated. God. I love that. What was your cringiest line?
Going back to what you had talked about where we didn't remember Uncle Rico being such a creep. Right. He's driving down the street in a van that's from, like, I don't know, 1970. And he pulls up on Haley Duff's character Summer and her friend Trish. And he literally looks like he's going to try to kidnap them.
Yeah, he's being a creep.
He's handing out the flyers for the breast enhancement pills and tells them to call him if they need something. And I was just like, that is the creepiest thing I think I've ever seen him film. Like, he was just, yeah.
He didn't really hit on the 17-year-old girls, but you wouldn't put it past him if he did.
Because, like you said, like, he was kind of hitting on Deb. Like, when she was going to take his pictures, like, he walks over, like, I was just waiting for him to, like, start massaging her shoulders and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, he's such a...
But in actuality, he's just trying to sell... He's trying to make a quick buck.
Sell his enhancement pills.
Yeah.
What was your cringiest moment?
Mine was where Napoleon gets a job at the chicken farm, and they make them a lunch.
Ugh.
And there's just flies everywhere.
Ugh.
And the farmer boss breaks an egg into what looks like orange juice, and then they all drink it. And it was just gross because I'm like, it seemed like it was a hot day, so then the sandwiches looked all gross, and it was just cringy for me because I'm like, well, like flies and.
There was just that guy in the scene. It just reminded me of the one character from, like, Waterboy, where you can't understand.
Yeah, the guy from...
No.
The
like,
guy that
what?
does the voice of... we just looked him up. He was from Boy Meets World. He played Sean's dad.
Oh, he does the voice of Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
Now, I can't think of his name in real life.
Yeah, but that he plays the character in Waterboy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blake something, I think is his name.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. You know who we're talking about, people, right?
Come on. Farmer Fran, I think was his name in Waterboy.
I don't remember. I haven't seen that movie in a really long time.
Ooh, there's a candidate.
Add it to the list.
You. Did you have any unnecessary scenes, additional edits, anything like that you noticed?
Let me see here. I'm sorry. I'm so off today. I'm just like chilling. Chilling like a villain. One of the additional ones was the one that you pointed out about Kip running over the bowl. I thought that was hilarious. And then just the scene where Uncle Rico gives Deb the bust must flyer for the breast enhancement was just cringy to me. It was almost going to be my cringiest moment, but I decided to do the food thing.
The other ones that I noticed that were just cracking me up was at the beginning, like, Kip and Napoleon are gonna get into a fight.
Yeah.
And Kip tells Napoleon, like, he's training to be a cage fighter. But then he comes over there and he's like, come on, give me your best shot. And Napoleon, like, slaps him. But, like, Kip just does this weird, like, jump slap to the face. And it's just the most awkward looking thing. And I was like, oh, I want to see him do that to an actual cage fighter. And then the other part was Uncle Rico and Kip are just sitting outside eating steaks, and Napoleon rolls up, and Uncle Rico just grabs a steak and throws it at Napoleon's face.
Yeah, I don't know why he hates him so much. I want to know the backstory of that. Yeah. I want to know why Uncle Rico hates Napoleon so much.
That'd be amazing.
Maybe because Napoleon can be a little bit of a dick too.
This is true.
But who's the adult Uncle Rico? Technically you are. Maybe he's just jealous of Napoleon's youth.
That could be. Because he's like, if I could go back to high school, we would have won state.
Yeah.
All they had to do was put me in the fourth quarter. So he probably does hate Napoleon because he's like, you're in high school.
He's like, they take it even further with his character because it doesn't even sound like he was the top of the class or the head
the starting quarterback?
Starting quarterback.
He was definitely the backup because he's like, all you had to do was put me in the fourth quarter.
So he's thinking about this stuff as if he was the starting quarterback, but it's even worse because he was probably a nobody in high school.
Yeah, he at best was the backup quarterback. He probably wasn't even on the team.
Oh, poor Uncle Rico.
Sad.
Should we move on to our awards?
Yes, we shall.
I feel like we should get a theme song for our awards.
Like, dun, dun, dun. It's award season.
The sound you made just made it sound like doing a startling
Take a shot.
A startling revelation.
Oh, it was like, yeah, I
Dun,
guess.
dun, dun.
Yeah, but I was doing it more like a happy tone.
Oh,
like, there's music playing and there's like spotlights zinging around because we're going to show all the celebrities rocking the red carpet at the Ruining Our Childhood Awards, where we give out 2 awards every week. First award, the valedictorian to the Nicolas Cage Online School of Bad Acting. Ashley, who is the winner?
I think you're not going to like my choice.
Oh, boy.
I picked John Heder.
Peter?
I can't say his name. And this is why.
Oh, boy.
So when this movie came out, I thought he was funny, and everything he said was funny, and obviously he has the most quotable lines.
This is true.
But I think over the years since the movie's been out, it's been overquoted, especially the first couple years. Everybody was quoting that movie.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like you said, everybody had the Vote for Pedro shirts. it got a little overdone.
Yes.
I found him to be annoying at times.
Okay.
And a little dull. And at one point I was like, just open your eyes, man. Like, literally, physically,
he's like this.
open your eyes.
Yeah.
He looks like he's high. I think if this movie was made today, Napoleon would be a total stoner.
No, I agree with you. There's definitely times where I was like,
There has to be a reason why he doesn't have his eyes open.
Yeah.
Other than he's socially awkward, and I think that I went to high school with some people that like couldn't make eye contact with people very well, and so I can see that being a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
That he does, instead of like looking down, he just kind of closes his eyes. But I also had a hard time when him and Pedro were in the same scenes. And it was just them, because they kind of, like, I think both the actors did this kind of dull deadpan. And it was just like, I was like, come on, somebody else go in the scene that had a little more life to them, like Deb or Uncle Rico or even Kip. Even though Kip does it a little too, he has better inflection, I would say, overall.
Okay.
Or he just seems to be a little more there. But I would be happy if somebody else came into the scenes to just break that up. And I don't know. But that being said, the dance scene at the end was still amazing.
Just delightful.
Yeah.
I gave my award to superstar Hilary Duff Jr. Haley Duff.
I think she's older than Hilary Duff.
Hilary Duff Sr. Because she lived off her sister's name.
That's true.
I thought she was like, she didn't have a lot of lines. And everything she read, like, was just robotic. And there's a scene where she's working at a grocery store, and I was like, you probably could have just hired any clerk that actually worked at the grocery store, they would have done a better job than her.
Was this her first movie?
I don't know, but I was just like, you're awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think her character was necessary, because I know there's sometimes we point out that characters are unnecessary, and that's why we choose them.
Yeah, the character was necessary, but get someone better. Go down to
had a very low budget, man.
Go to the local youth theater and get somebody.
In
Preston, Idaho.
Preston, Idaho, which is a real city.
Yeah. Go get anyone.
Or town, I should say. It wasn't a city.
Go to a farm and get somebody who
a chicken. Get a chicken.
Anyone would have been better than Haley Duff. She was terrible.
Aw. My runner-up was her boyfriend, Don.
Ugh.
Because his overacting, especially towards the end, after she does her dance number skit thing, after the speeches, and he's just like pulling his t-shirt like she's making him hot, and ugh.
He was awful.
Yeah, he wasn't great. Right. Should we move on to the Thomas J. Hanks Award for Exceptional Acting?
Yes, we shall.
Who did you give it to?
I gave it to John Heder.
Oh, God. We've done this before, guys. I think it was the Spider-Man episode.
Yeah.
We did it.
I gave it to Willem Dafoe, and you gave the bad one to Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
I thought... Cagey? Yeah, I gave John Heder the Thomas J. Hanks because I was thinking, I'm like, in that time period, who could have played Napoleon Dynamite? That's an actor.
That's true.
I don't know that anyone... He makes the part. And I do agree with you. The scenes with him and Pedro are terrible.
They're like unbearable. I was just like, when is this movie over?
But the scenes where it's him, like, I love the scene he's like on the bus and the kid's like, what are you gonna do? And all he does is throw a wrestling toy out a window attached to some fishing line, and I was like, that's freaking funny.
No, I agree. Like, some of his lines were funny. I just feel like I think they were so overquoted that I was just like, they lost their humor to me. And
but I felt like he brought something to the character because, like, on it, like how you said, how you thought he was high, he maintained that through the whole movie.
Very true.
And if you've ever seen John Heder do anything else, he's not like that.
Not really.
He's totally acting.
I think the first couple of movies after he did it, I think people wanted him to be like that.
Yeah, and he wanted no part of that.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't.
No.
As an actor.
But that was my justification. I get your justification as well for him being an awful actor. Which, there you go. Nicolas Cage has been a bad actor, and he's been a great actor.
Yeah.
John Heder, in the same movie. Bad actor and a terrible actor.
And I don't think I chose him because he's a bad actor. I just found the character way more annoying than I did when I first watched the movie. And obviously it's a movie that's named after the character and he's the main part of the movie. I didn't find him as funny.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not into the same things as I was when I was 18.
I get
Go figure.
I get it. Who did you give your award to?
I gave mine to Kip.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he's a dick in all the scenes, and it's hilarious. And I love the line when he's like, we chat online for like 2 hours every day, so I guess you could say we're getting pretty serious. I love that line. And he is still kind of deadpan, but like I said a little earlier, he has this thing about him that makes him a little more, has more life to him. Mm-hmm. And his just storyline's kind of funny, and especially when his girlfriend comes to town and she like completely changes
Makes him a gangster.
Yeah, and then he moves to Detroit, and I'm just like, I think he's gonna get killed if he's dressed like that in Detroit. Or at least, punched in the face a couple times.
Well, yeah.
And I wouldn't blame anybody for
He's
that.
got a very punchable face.
It's called culture appropriation for a reason.
Oh, God.
Anyway, so should we move on to what we think? I don't know if you can tell what mine is gonna say. I can't talk. No. Are we doing a podcast? Is this what we're doing? My brain's not working.
I went back and forth. I laughed at the movie and then I chuckled, but I don't think it, like, in hindsight, I'm like, it's not a good movie.
It's not great. I think it's overhyped.
It's very overhyped. Like, and we were the people that were overhyping it.
Oh, for sure.
We were guilty of it.
For sure.
I don't think it holds up. It's not good.
It's hard to get through.
Yeah.
It was hard to get through. I think after like the first 40 minutes, I was like, this is almost over, right? I don't remember any of the middle part, by the way. I don't remember him working on a chicken farm.
No.
I don't remember the stuff with the piñata. It's like I blacked it out or something.
I remember the piñata, and I remembered the dance sequences, but that was
yeah.
it. Yeah, I agree. Like the whole, I remember maybe it was the first 20 minutes of the movie. I was like, that's pretty funny. Everything else, I'm like, oh.
And like I said, there was definitely parts that were funny, but it didn't make up for the dull parts. And there were a lot of dull moments. I felt like that didn't add anything to the film.
No.
They were just kind of there. And I think overall it was a creative movie, and it was different, and that's why it was successful. Mm-hmm. It wasn't really anything that we'd seen before.
No, and I agree. And yeah, there's a lot of that. This movie could have been about 45 minutes long. Yeah. And somehow we dragged it out into like a 98-minute, cinematic masterpiece.
Well, fun fact, I was reading that they had made it was a short first, and then they had like expanded it.
Oh.
And it had John Heder in the short too. So I don't know, as an adult, I don't see myself going back and rewatching this just for the hell of it.
No.
Maybe I'll show it to our kid one day, see if he thinks it's funny. We don't have a child yet. I'm just talking about, future child. Yeah.
It was I would say, more so than any movie that I think we've watched, I felt like this was a chore to get through.
Yes. And yeah, for sure.
And we watched Gone in 60 Seconds last week, folks.
Okay? I love that movie. I mean, it was like that good bad where you felt like you wanted to make fun of it.
It was everything you could have hoped for.
Yes.
You went into it going, this is going to be pretty questionable. Whereas this, I was not going, like, I kind of went back and forth going, I don't know that the humor and that stuff would hold up. And I'm like, okay, I was right. It really didn't. Like, I chuckled.
Yeah, there's parts that held up for me, but overall, it didn't. It was kind of blah.
Yeah, agreed. So there you go, folks. If you want to go disappoint yourself and ruin your childhood, go ahead and watch this movie.
And if you really like this movie still, then let us know on our Facebook page or Instagram or Twitter.
There you go.
Where we sometimes post things.
Yeah, we're at Ruining Our Childhood on Facebook and on Instagram. I almost said wrong. And then at Twitter, we're ROC Movie Podcast.
Yes, that's our stuff.
So next week, we're going to do Jawbreaker.
We are.
And then we will put up a poll for the following week.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I don't know what movies we're going to pick, but they're going to be delightful.
Are they?
Delightful or terrible. So.
I mean, in general, we do want them to be kind of terrible.
It's nice when we get a nice mix. Like, for a while there, I felt like all the movies were holding up really well.
Yeah.
And now we're, like, I think 3 weeks in a row of just movies where we're like, I did not hold up.
Maybe our standards are getting higher with time.
Yeah.
What? Anyway, thanks so much for listening, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. And have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.